Most Democrats say that the war in Iran that President Trump is conducting is illegal. Most Republicans say that it's fine, that it's okay. Which one do you believe? And we'll take a look at it and see if we can answer that question. Article 1 of the Constitution talks about the powers that Congress was given. And one of the powers that Congress is enumerated is the power to declare war. Congress is the only one that gets the ability to be able to declare war. The president is not offered this power in Article 2. Let me ask you a question. Think about this. When was the last time Congress declared war on a nation? We'll get back to that. Article 2, like I mentioned, talks about the powers that the president has been given. And the president has been given the power of being the commander in chief of the U.S. military, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines. He's the one that can control whether they get deployed or not deployed. He is the commander over all of the officers in the military. The last time that Congress declared war on a nation was in World War II, back in 1942. That's when the United States Congress declared war against Japan and Germany and all of the other Axis powers. We have not declared war on a nation since then. But is that the last time we were in a war? Obviously not. Joe Biden had conducted strikes against Syria, against the Houthis. Obama conducted strikes and went to war against Libya and ousted Gaddafi. There was also other conflicts he was a part of. We know about George Bush and Operation Desert Storm. It was a military operation that was conducted without, again, Congress declaring war on the nation of Iraq. The Vietnam War, the Korean War, all of these conflicts were all conducted without Congress saying, I declare war. How are they able to do that? Well, there's another tenet that Congress uses, and it's called the Authorization of Military Force, or AUMF. Authorizational use of military force. And Congress can give the ability of the president to be able to have funding that is needed in order to conduct a war. And it's similar to a declaration of war, only it's not a constitutional enumerated power. It's a bill, it gets passed, it's voted on by Congress, and it gives a lot of the same powers that a declaration of war entails, but it's much narrower. And it doesn't sound as grave or as foreboding as actually saying we declare war on another sovereign nation. So, as far as polling and voters are concerned, it's a lighter way to say it's okay to fight against another nation. Obama did not even get an authorization of use of military force when he conducted strikes against Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, Libya, Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan. None of those nations did he even get an AUMF, let alone did Congress declare war. Obama tried to use an old authorization of military force that George Bush had procured after 9/11 to go after Iraq, and he tried to use that as with his discretion of saying that that was his legal use of being a legal ability to be able to go to war in those particular instances. There was even many Democrats like Elizabeth Warren that disagreed with Obama's use of an old AUMF in order to try to conduct new military strikes against other nations other than the ones that were specifically laid out by George Bush that he got authorization for. But even an AUMF isn't required by the president in order to be able to conduct a military operation. There was a War Powers Act that was passed by Congress back in 1973. After the end of the Vietnam War, there was the Korean War and the Vietnam War, both of these wars were conducted, and like I mentioned earlier, there was no declaration of war that was made, and Congress decided to put some kind of restraint on the executive branch as far as what they would be able to do and for how long. So they came up with a proposal that limited the executive or the president to being able to conduct a military operation, but only for up to 60 days. And it gave them 30 days, more or less, in order to ramp up or to bring home, to disengage U.S. troops from any type of conflict around the world. But they were also required, the president was, to notify Congress within 48 hours of any type of action. Now, when this proposal was brought up, Richard Nixon in 1973 actually vetoed the act. He said no, he didn't want his powers limited by Congress. And Congress, through a two-thirds majority, overrode his veto. And the law was implemented anyway, despite Nixon fighting against it. Here's really what's going on here. Because it's Donald Trump, it gets called illegal. And we've talked about this before. Anything that Donald Trump does, because of the actual person himself, because of who he is, the Democrats automatically want to fight and push back against it. No matter what it is, no matter how good it is, no matter how important it is, if Donald Trump comes up with the idea, it's automatically wrong. And here, it's no exception. It's the same problem. And unfortunately, once again, the Democrats are wrong. Here's really the reality of it all. In this particular domain, the President of the United States actually has more power than Congress. See, the President can conduct a military operation, like I mentioned before, under the War Powers Act. He gets 60 days to conduct it, and he just needs to inform Congress of what the action is within 48 hours of beginning it. And that's it. Congress, on the other hand, has the ability to declare war, and they are the ones that can control the funding for the actual war. But the problem is, Congress can declare war on anyone that they want. But if the president does not tell the troops, if the commander in chief does not tell the actual military to conduct the war, nothing happens. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. Thank you.